Fight!
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the MKAU podcast. We're making a special bonus episode this month due to the amount of gaming news that's come out over the last couple of days with the Xbox Direct, Starfield Direct, the Xbox Showcase, and the Ubisoft Forward events. Did any of you guys watch the events live?
Yep.
No.
What did you think? You stayed up. You didn't even go to sleep and wake back up.
Yeah.
What did you think from a live perspective?
Xbox and Starfield was great with like the way that they did their production and the quality. Ubisoft seemed with their streams it was only in 1080, so kind of a bit hard to hear and see sometimes. But it was definitely worth staying up for, I reckon.
Yeah, there's a lot of good quality out of it. Just from a perspective of someone who doesn't play a whole lot of games.
Xbox always do a good job with the showcases because they'll do trailer, then stop and talk about it for a while, then trailer. So it's keeping you enthused in the topics at hand. Well, we'll start off with you, Flack. What was your sort of favorite game out of the massive lifts there was, or something you're looking forward to?
Oh, it's hard to say like a favorite one because there's such a lot of games like coming out at the end of this year and then early next year. I would have to say the biggest one for me is definitely going to be Starfield. The reason being is because I love playing Star Citizen, but the fact that Star Citizen doesn't have like a set storyline or any NPCs that you can really interact with, the fact that like Starfield is like, it's Bethesda, right? There's going to be so much actual story content there that, I mean, the $120 asking price for the base game alone is, well, that's 120 Australian, is, I think, quite worth it. Just due to the fact that they've got like that over 1,000 planets that no matter if you or I are playing the game, we go to the same planet, it's going to look completely different. Procedurally computer generated planets, that's a big one for me. The ship customization as well. And yeah, I think the replayability of the game is going to be pretty huge when choosing your class, similar to like Mass Effect. But yeah, that's the big one for me. And then obviously Assassin's Creed, and one that kind of popped up that I didn't really expect was the Microsoft Flight Sim 2024. That piqued my interest with the whole different missions with the aircraft and whatnot.
And the Dune event that they're going to put
Yeah,
in.
the Dune vehicle, which looks pretty cool as well, yeah.
Yeah,
The
it looks
event-
alright.
The events go back to the older Flight Simulator because they used to have the missions in that, didn't they? Like all your rescue missions and that.
Yeah,
I thought it was,
but they weren't very big.
I thought it was just going to add on to a whole new game.
Oh, is it a whole new?
It's 2024, yeah.
Oh, see, I thought it was just like a, like with Rocket League, they just chuck a skin in.
The June one it is, but not this.
Yeah, so it'll be everything from like 2023's, but then obviously they're adding on that mission feature. So I think that's where they're going with it, that they might actually be going down that path of adding more interactive stuff to do instead of just flying from point A to point B, and obviously using your own type of aircraft that you like. So I think they're trying just to bring different audiences in that want something to do while they're actually flying around in a sim.
No, 100%.
That's how uninterested I am in Flight Simulator. I didn't even notice that it was a 2024, like a new game. I thought it was just like adding on to the this year's one.
I'm going to play it.
So, yeah, I know you peak. It would pique your
Hell
interest.
yeah, man!
I used to enjoy doing all those missions in the older Flight Simulator game, doing like the rescue missions off the oil rigs and stuff. All good fun. What about you, Stace? What piqued your interest?
So fun fact, they showcased 27 games. What piqued my interest is 19 of those are straight to Game Pass day one.
Yeah.
Like that was like amazing. I thought that was amazing. I'd put like a little tick every time it said straight to Game Pass, and it was 19 of those titles.
We're just talking about Xbox at the moment.
Yeah, we're just talking about Xbox at the moment. I thought it was also really interesting that 14 games were also from like partnership developments, like working with Ubisoft to make Star Wars Outlaws. And I'm not a massive Star Wars person, but that looks really cool. anyone got any thoughts on Star Wars Outlaws?
It's
Going off-
open world single player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going off Jedi Survivor, I think the game's going to go really well because it takes it away from that Jedi aspect, which a lot of people do like, not having to necessarily run around with your lightsaber and that all the time, because it brings a new feeling to the game, not having necessarily the Force powers and that, but still being in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
And it's an original
definitely
story.
fun to see, like,
It very much reminded me of the game that we were going to get many years ago called 1313.
Yeah.
So where that was actually a breakaway from the Jedi and the Sith, and it was about the scoundrels and the scum and all that type of stuff. So
it's a great like story that they can really go through is all the scums and scoundrel sort of stuff. There's a whole lot there.
There's a lot of lore, right?
Yep.
I suppose Star Wars is one of those.
Very lore heavy.
Yeah, but it's also like it's a pretty open IP. They can do anything with it.
Yeah,
Like, yeah,
they could
to a
make
degree, I
game
guess.
about droids and it would be fun.
Oh yeah, bro. They could take do a whole thing on what's Chewbacca? Or no, he's not.
It's a Wookiee.
Wookiee.
Yeah, you could do a whole game just on that. You know,
Yeah.
and I would play that shit.
I definitely agree with that. It's good that they've taken this kind of story-driven open world RPG-esque, but not gone the routes of everyone else has done, where it's like either just Jedis or like with the Star Wars Battlefront games. So that was like just focused on multiplayer, even though it had a career, like a campaign or a story or whatnot. I think that what people are wanting when they're talking about Star Wars games and stuff is more about the different planets, the different, like they showed in the showcase, in the trailer, sorry, all the different like factions that they go to on the different planets, like, and how every different planet kind of had a different way of life. Whereas in the trailer, the first thing you see is obviously her in a spaceship, and then all of a sudden she's on a planet, and they're like blowing stuff up, and to see where it fits in the fact that it's actually in the first three, between the first, I think, the second and what was it, the fourth and the fifth movie, I think it was technically.
Okay.
Iron Jedi, yes.
Yeah. So the fact that we actually haven't seen many games in that space is going to be really interesting to see how they actually portray what happens from the movie.
It's good they can still go off the timeline too. Like you still see the stormtroopers in the trailer and stuff, so it's something you can say, "Oh, that's a stormtrooper." Like you got something you can still identify back to, which is always good. Makes the game easier to play.
Yeah, and I noticed that the blaster looks exactly for the right timeline as well, which was really cool.
Yeah, it does.
Is this in Snowdrop?
Yes.
Yeah.
What else? So I'm like an RPG fiend, so I was like frothing for Fable. Like I'm glad they opened with Fable. I'm like, bruh, because it had like Moss from the IT crowd
I
as
got
a
so
giant.
confused. I started watching it when I got to work, and the first thing that was the Fable trail. I'm like, did I click on the Ubisoft thing, or am I watching not Ubisoft? Did I click on the Xbox thing, or am I watching IT crowd?
Yeah.
I got so
It was just really
confused.
well done. And like classic Fable way, the trailer was just like a complete mockery of trailers. Avowed kind of piqued my interest because it's made by Obsidian, and I've really liked Obsidian games. They did the likes of, is it Outerworld? I'm pretty sure they did. Outerworlds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was really good. And they were they had like an ex-Fallout team. Is that right? Didn't
No
Obsidian start from that? I'm sure they worked on some
sure.
Bethesda games. So yeah, Avowed looks cool because it looks like Skyrim. What else piqued my interest? I don't want to steal everyone's answers.
It's alright.
I'm not going to talk about Forza. That's a you thing.
Yep.
I don't know. I was kind of frustrated with like it kept bringing up Bethesda, but they kind of disappointed me really. The stuff that they had in there, tucked away in there to show. There's lots of cute little indie games. I thought they were cool. Cyberpunk, I'm really stoked for can't wait for Cyberpunk. I love Idris Elba, so I'm really stoked that he's in it. And that's dropping in September, so that's real close. So I was like, yay.
What did you think about the announcement of that with Keanu Reeves on there. Did you feel like it was kind of forced when he was saying it? Did it make you feel a bit weird when he was like announcing it?
Yeah, he seemed a little bit awkward, but that's just as a person, I think.
I don't know. I got the chills when I was watching it. I was like sitting because I was actually laying in bed, and when it popped up, I was like, "All right, cool." You know, Keanu Reeves, is he going to do that whole Xbox moment again? Like, like you're amazing, But it just felt really awkward to me. I don't know if anyone else got that feeling.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little?
Like he knew it was uncomfortable because of how the game was when it first released. I don't know. But, yeah.
It might be their redemption, this DLC.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
What about you, Subby?
Actually, wait, one more. South of Midnight, bruh, that is so gonna be mine for review.
I was very confused on that trailer. Like, it looked cool, don't get me wrong.
In the bayou with the old southern music. Oh, I love those. I live for those sort of like little indie quirky games. But yeah.
Awesome. What about you, Subby?
Starfield's probably the biggest one because I was very doubtful. Like crap. I wasn't too impressed. Now it looks actually pretty good, and I think I'm going to play it.
Talking more about Starfield, though, do you think it's... No, I'm trying to remember what it's called. Do you think it's going to give... Is it Star Citizen a run for its money?
Probably a bit.
That's why we need Gilly in here, because that's all he plays. But it looks similar.
Yeah.
I think it looks like a combination of like... What's that other one that was really bad at launch? That's No Man's Skies.
No Man's Sky.
No Man's Skies mixed with Star Citizen, mixed with Fallout, but in space. I don't know. Maybe?
It'd be interesting to see when it drops, if it gives it a bit of a run for its money.
I'm on the fence because, like Flack said, Bethesda are known for amazing storytelling, but they're also known for like gank mechanics.
Well, it's I think it's all the new engines. They're not using any of the old stuff.
It's an upgraded version of their new, like it's, the Fallout 76 engine.
Yeah, it's new.
How that was like it's the new one of that. Yeah. It's still got the core basis of like the Fallout and the Elder Scrolls games and stuff, but it's obviously on their new technology.
It looks really good.
Yeah, but I don't think it'll give Star Citizen a run for its money because Star Citizen's a simulation. Like it's a simulator of a sandbox where you can do anything you want. There is some missions you can and can't do, like because obviously when people look at Star Citizen right now, it's not the actual like story, which is Squadron 42. It's just the sandbox of you be whatever you want to be, do whatever you want to do. Whereas Starfield's completely different. There's this massive story for it. Yeah.
Like I said, I think it's a decent mix of a few games. Starfield Outlaws obviously looks pretty cool. It's single player open world Star Wars. Look what happened, Jedi Survivor and stuff.
Yeah,
they went quite well. Not that I've played the second one yet, but pretty keen on that one. Forza Motorsport, I know Whippy's probably keen for it, but I'm not. I'm more of the Horizon guy. Cruise new one. Payday 3 just looks like...
Or Forza?
Forza. Payday 3 just looks like Payday 2. Okay.
That looked cool, I thought.
Yeah. It just looks much the same. I don't know.
I hope they keep updating it like they did.
To me,
Payday's one of those games that they should have done like what they're doing with Rainbow Six and just keep updating it and have like the base game and add more content to it over time. But
I was keen for it, but after watching more gameplay, it just looked the same. I don't know.
Has it always been you either be the cops or the bad guys?
You're only the bad guys.
Only the bad guys.
Oh, because in the trailer it looked like you could play as the police as well.
That might be a multiplayer aspect of the teasing. I kind of thought that as well.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Was it just me? Yeah.
Maybe.
That'd be pretty cool.
The other one I was actually interested. Oh, the Clockwork Revolution looks like a BioShock. Yeah.
Yeah, I did notice that.
That looks good. Pretty keen
for Honor type BioShocky.
Yeah.
Was that a Bethesda title?
That was a No, that's a Xbox. Called Infinite
Exile, Ing's Exile.
or something.
Yeah,
Yeah, it looks
Ing
very
Exile.
Bioshock. I'll probably keen for that one, but yeah, I don't know. There's just nothing that really stands out, to be honest. Besides Starfield, Star Wars. Everything else just looks cool. Check
Yeah,
it
fair
out,
enough.
but nothing that really stood out.
Good work, Subby.
What about you, Tops?
I'm actually really looking forward to Persona 3 Reload. Like, I love Persona, so having it like accessible on newer gen consoles is great.
I knew you
along
was
with-
going to say that.
Along with Persona 5 Tactica. Tactica looks really fun. Another game series that I very much enjoy. Fire Emblem. It looks a lot like
Yeah.
that. So I'm excited for that. Personally, I would be really excited if from this we do get like a big collection of Persona games, which might include like the rhythm games. There's just an entire series of Persona River games that a lot of the other games that were shown, there's not like a lot I very much enjoy. There was some news for Overwatch 2 that I was like, heck yes, more PvE aspect stuff. Other than that, probably like just go from it. Still Wakes of the Deep looked very interesting.
Yeah.
Like at least one creepy game was added into the list, which was nice.
Yeah, it's very creepy. I hope it's got some like Cthulhu and like Catholicism in it.
I got very Amnesia vibes from that game. So it was very short and sweet too. Like it didn't really sort of give much away, but it definitely got that creepy vibe, sort of Amnesia style gameplay.
I like those games when they do like a teaser trailer or even a trailer, and they don't give too much on the game away, but it keeps you thinking of what's coming. Oh, you get the sort of gist of what's happening, but
it doesn't give it
still
all
asking
away.
this. Yeah.
Yeah, those are always great. Like, I sometimes I don't really even care for seeing a gameplay trailer.
Sometimes I avoid them.
Story.
Monkey Island or
Monkey Island.
Sea of Thieves.
Monkey Island for Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, I wrote that down. That's a genius move from them to start keep adding stuff
100%.
like that to games that are already well established. Like when they did the Pirates Life, Pirates of the Caribbean event. Like that got me back on Sea of Thieves after like months of being away from it.
So I'm actually confused about this Monkey Island thing.
It's just a story expansion. It's like a story
game event.
It's
style thing.
LucasArts, like it's Lucasfilms, right?
Monkey Island.
Yeah, because they had that when the trailer popped up, it showed Lucasfilms games and Rare. But what does Lucas have anything to do with it?
Oh, because they probably did the original Monkey Island.
Yeah, they did do the original.
It's an old,
it's probably
franchise.
their IP.
Yeah.
It is their own IP.
It was interesting in that regards too that the original creator of it was actually left out of the loop on this one, and he was actually brought in like right at the end. So
what a surprise!
Yeah,
because he probably would have said something.
He probably would have put his hand out. Anyway.
Yeah,
give me the monies.
What about you, Ash? What sort of threw itself at you over the Xbox showcase?
I'm very much in the same camp as Subby. There was lots of games in there that looked interesting, and I would definitely, give it some time. But there was nothing in that showcase that said to me, I have to play it. There was like ones that I could say, yeah, I'm definitely going to play is probably going to be Outlaws.
Yeah.
So, but really beyond that, there's lots in there that I'd like to have a go at, and it's going to make it really easy where, like Stace said, there are a lot coming day one to Game Pass. But, I'm not falling over myself to play anything out of that showcase.
Maybe psychologically that's why, because I think we all have Game Pass here, so we know that we can just go to it whenever we want.
Yeah.
Like we don't need to go rush out on day one and buy it because we can just play it whenever we want.
I think it was all an impressive. It was all impressive, good lineup, but only a couple of things that I'm gonna get into that like straight away.
And I'm with Subby on that one. Yes, there's impressive. The lineup was impressive. So it was
The showcase
definitely
was good.
a knockout of the park for Xbox. I reckon they did a very good job of the presentation. But game-wise for me, yeah, I'm not, super keen to rush out and grab anything. Putting Game Pass aside, if we were still living in the times of not being able to sort of get games like that, Outlaws I would go out and actually purchase.
By day one.
Probably not day one, but it would be definitely on the purchase list. So
yeah, I would get Fable day one. That's the only real one on there that I would get like straight away.
I'm waiting to see more gameplay of Fable before I make that decision because it didn't show off what type of Fable is it going to be. It's just called Fable, right? Like, are they just redoing a story from old?
Was there any gameplay at all? I can't remember.
No,
it was all in
cinematic.
engine. Yeah, it
Because
was all
they
in engine.
boasted that everything was going to be gameplay, but before the event.
No, so what they said was they're going to make it more clear for when you're watching whether it's going to be in engine, in gameplay, or if it was just cinematic.
And everything had labels.
So what they showed off was in engine, but it was an in engine cinematic. It wasn't actually gameplay. So that's why I'm not going to get it day one, or even probably look at it on Game Pass day one, just because I don't know what it's going to be like. And I've played all the other Fables and loved them, but just they need to show us something soon to bring people whether they want to actually go and play it or not, without having to install it and then playing.
Yeah, Aaron Greenberg from Xbox was very selective in his wording when he was actually, talking about this, that what was going to be shown was going to be gameplay or in-engine cutscenes. So, and the first three straight off the cab was Fable, South of Midnight, and Outlaws, where there was no or very limited gameplay.
Yeah, they didn't show gameplay for Outlaws until the
Ubisoft.
Forward.
Yeah. I don't think any of them showed gameplay in the first three. It was all just cutscenes.
No, they were all
cutscenes or in engineer. The first three were pretty much like that. I think there was like one scene, I think, out of Fable where it flashed up for a second, but I couldn't pinpoint it. So, like I said, Aaron Greenberg was very selective and very clear with his wording on what was going to be delivered. And though it was disappointing that especially those first three didn't have like gameplay stuff, they were still covered in with the wording he used.
Yep.
Well, the one that struck me the biggest was Forza. I do love my Forza games. Forza games are the best. Well, it's not even necessarily a new game. They're rebooting the franchise, which they need to do because the engine now and current generation consoles obliterates anything that they've ever done before with motorsport games. So the whispers that have been going around the internet of what's in the game is going to be very interesting when it actually comes down to gaming, and you'll definitely see it'll take a lot of the shitloading out of online racing too, because they're putting in a ranking system. So if you're actually legitimate wanting to race, you will be put in with people that are legitimately wanting to race and not smashing you out the first corner and whatnot. So it's definitely going to be a bit of fun.
That's going to be similar to how iRacing do it, right? With like an I rating or whatnot.
Yeah. So you pretty much get thrown into a category. So if you're just go to the first corner and smash people, you'll be put in the bottom, and then if you're racing well, you'll get bumped up each rank to, which will make it a lot more fun for online racing because a lot of people do take that seriously, and you do get the people that drift limousines around the track.
What is going on over there?
I don't know. Starfield was good. Payday 3 looks all right. I was keen for Microsoft Flight Sim 2024. Should be a bit of fun. Like Subby and Ash said, there were a lot of titles there, and it was well presented. But some of it was a little bit going, I guess. But they got to put something in there for everyone, I guess. At the end of the day, you can't please absolutely everyone with the game. So
I always love hearing from Sarah Bond when she's on the screen. She's so good. She's so charismatic as a presenter. The chick at the start.
Yeah. I think they've done well to pull away from Phil Spencer being on the stage all the time. I think bringing in different people on stage is really good. So it's not just like just one person that you're used to hearing and seeing from and all this stuff like that. It's like there's actually a diversity of people within the community side of Xbox, and then the thing that like the people we see having different people talking keeps it fresh and keeps you more engaged, because obviously they've got their own personalities. They're not just Phil Spencer, which we all. I mean, I think Phil's done a great job for Xbox. But the way he talks is very. You can tell he's on like in his head. He's kind of just counting. Yeah, he talks level. Very corporate. Yeah.
Him wrapping it up at the end is probably the perfect way to how they did that.
Well, yeah, because he's obviously he's like the one thing everybody hasn't talked about yet was the new Series S Black 1 terabyte, and him announcing that is the best thing for it. Is to say, you know what, we've listened. This is what we're doing, and I think I was shocked. I didn't expect it. I did not expect a console launch or like reveal, but it was definitely good that they did that.
It's something they needed to do from start though, because like your Series S is completely digital. You don't get the option to play, like put the disc in or anything like that. So you needed that storage.
Yeah, but they were pushing the sales of that storage expansion drive, but that thing was expensive.
It was almost it was almost the cost of the Xbox.
Yeah. So, but then if you've followed the news, is it Western Digital are doing a new?
They're doing one now. Yeah, so
they're doing one. It's a lot cheaper.
Yeah, Seagate doesn't have the rights, the exclusivity to it anymore. So start seeing other third party.
Well, isn't it half the price, Subby?
Not quite, but it is quite a lot cheaper. Not quite, but they'll all come down now. Start seeing the price come right down, including the Western Digital one.
So obviously, straight after the Xbox showcase, they went straight onto Starfield Direct, where they obviously showed us a bit of gameplay of Starfield and what we sort of can expect from the game, which I think brought a lot of hype into it. Which, at the same time, I think the showcase was heavily advertised with Starfield too. They were like everything. Anytime they said anything about the showcase, it was immediately followed by Starfield Direct, and which, don't get me wrong, it's going to be a huge game, so I can see why Xbox would be pushing it as hard as they are, but do you think they got enough people hyped in the Direct event?
They had to. They had to because there wasn't...
I was going to say, like, to right, I think they had to. The game comes out in, like...
Well, technically 1st of September if you get the 2 top editions.
They've shown nothing until then, so they had to. They had to show as much as they could.
Well, you said it when we spoke to you about what games you were looking forward to, was that you didn't think Starfield looked that good when they first showed it off. I mean, I was peaked.
It looked okay, but it didn't look impressive. It
looked cool. It was like, oh, okay, you've piqued my interest. Is this just going to be a reskin Skyrim or Fallout or anything like that? But to hear what they've been doing, like, it's insane. I was at the end of my bed, as close to the screen as I could be, trying to make sure that I could see every single detail. Like, I'm super hyped to Starfield. I literally have a pre-order of their Constellation edition.
Nerd.
Did you?
It's $500 pre-order.
Not too much money, bro.
I need to put a deposit down.
You got that Star Citizen money.
Yeah. So no, I'm super hyped for Starfield. Plus, I've got like the Fallout 4 Pip-Boy edition, so I have that. And I just like having collectibles. The watch is cool. The fact that it actually connects to your phone as a smartwatch. The case that it comes in is a proper actual case. The DLC stuff is, you get the first expansion. So they actually kind of didn't even talk about the expansion. They didn't even actually tell you at all. It just literally just talked about the watch. So when I actually looked online and when I looked at the pre-order, I was like, oh, wow, you actually get the first expansion, which they haven't done, if I can remember correctly, from any of the Fallout or Skyrim bigger editions. You never got the first DLC for free.
A lot of games are starting to do that these days, though, putting in like the DLCs as if you buy the Ultimate Edition, you'll get the first DLC or the second DLC free, sort of thing. A lot of games are doing that now because they can't. A lot more of them are obviously going digital.
Yeah. Well, you'd want to, for the price tag at, $4.99 Australian it's massive. I mean, I was expecting it $250 to be collector's edition, but didn't expect it to be that high in price.
At least we all know Flack is very rich.
He's a rich boy.
Rich boy.
Yeah. But no, I think Starfield Direct, they needed to do it because there was a lot of doubts. And
Definitely.
they haven't shown off
got me
anything.
hooked into the game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's like,
they
'cause-
literally showed nothing, and then the game's out soon. So they had to do the big whole event for it.
Yeah, because
Gotta
their
see it.
gameplay reveal trailer, it piqued my interest because it was space. Like any space game, I'll try out a space game because I love space stuff. But it piqued that enough to be like, all right, cool. You know what? They're doing a full showcase, and I was expecting 30 minutes. I did not expect like just over an hour of Starfield stuff. And at the end of it, I was kind of like, oh, it's over. I want more. I want to see more. Like they did the showcase that well. It felt like there was still more on the table for the players and people to find out if they're watching streamers play the game and stuff.
Very positive too, because all the news outlets and stuff are sort of showing this is what 12-month delay can do to a game, and you look at the comparisons of some of the areas that they've shown initially to now. Day and night, the garbage before. And
Yeah, well, they've
Yeah,
developed that
just-
new technology for it. So, and imagine if other game companies want to use that technology. Bethesda's in the power to help them out for it, especially now that they're backed with Xbox. Like that's huge for them and for the gamer itself because the way they did the lighting blew me away. I was shocked by how good that looks, and everyone complaining about it being in locked to 30 FPS. I know that before the show you started talking about it, Whippy. It's needed on console.
It's funny though. Like as soon as the event had stopped, everyone was on Twitter. Oh, it's locked at 30 frames per FPS. Blah 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 blah. And the amount of people do not know how games work. Like if you want it to look like how it looks, they need to lock it down. It's not going to run properly at 60 frames per second on the Xbox and looking that crisp.
What is
But
it on PC?
We don't know. They haven't said anything. But the minimum is a 20 series.
Yeah,
I think
it's not much. I had a
it's
look
like a
too.
1080 Ti or something like that for minimum. But recommended was a 2080. So they're expecting, cards that got 12 gigs VRAM. Sorry, anybody like me that doesn't. You probably won't be playing the game in Ultra, that's for sure.
Well,
So can I be sort of devil advocate in regards to this? Like, yeah, clearly, Flack, you're excited, but like, I'm going to use the word unbelievable scope. Now, when I say unbelievable, I'm not going, wow, it's like fantastic. I'm actually using the actual word as it's intended, that the scope is that large and impressive that is it actually unbelievable.
Yeah. Like the scope of the game, right?
Yeah, so like everything they've shown us and presented it looks great, but reality sort of looking at it like on how much they've actually put out there, is it actually physically possible to like give us what they're actually presenting, or are we going to have another sort of Fallout 76 case?
I think because obviously that was like the biggest thing that they're concerned. The reason why they delayed the game was obviously the new engine, with the snowdrop stuff that's happening, and the procedurally generated planets. Obviously, everyone starts thinking straight away, No Man's Sky. This is just another No Man's Sky. But you look at the devs didn't actually give up on No Man's Sky. They fixed it, right? It's actually a playable game that runs well, that's quite enjoyable. If Bethesda had took any notes on that, they're obviously they're going to do it much, much better, right? It's from what I'm hoping, yes, it is quite unbelievable to me. Like it's like, can they actually do this properly? And if they do it, it's going to be massive for the game. Like it'll be massive for Bethesda.
I think they know if it doesn't perform, it's not going to be good.
Yeah, so they wouldn't delay a game for 12 months if it not be that good. And they've been hyping this up to say that we put Elder Scrolls 6 on the back burner. Any Fallout stuff apart from a DLC on the back burner. Like their whole, when you watch the showcase, you look at their Bethesda Studios, all you can see right now is Starfield in the office.
Pretty much
It's
just
the whole building.
because that's the thing. Like I did get a sense a lot of sort of different sort of things they were aiming for. So yes, it does have, like you've been saying, No Man's Sky sort of feelings to it. It's also got things in it like that EVE Online sort of has. So we've actually got scope to sort of, almost sort of run it like a life simulator sort of thing. It's got like the companionship stuff that you can get, say, from like Mass Effect. I even got feelings of like the show Westworld in it, just sort of how it was sort of presented.
Yeah.
So, with all these different things in it, and like with it just the thing that came to the forefront of my mind is like how believable is all of this? Like, how much are we actually going to get that they're actually sort of presenting? Or, like you said, are we going to get like a No Man's Sky where it's not going to be what we're seeing now out of the gate, but they're actually going to build on it?
Yeah, I think from what they showed off, it was all final like gameplay pillars. Sorry, but it's a Bethesda game. Everybody knows what they're like on launch. Bugfest, but
Which
I
irritates
think,
me.
yeah,
Because they get away with it. Everyone's like, oh, Bethesda, oh, you. And then the moment another company does, they get reamed.
but I think it's more because Bethesda's pretty quick to fix those things. And something as large as Starfield, think about when the Elder Scrolls first came out and how big that was, right? That was their baby. Starfield is now their baby. They're going to be protecting it and looking after it quickly and pronto because they've put, as they said, is it Todd Howard? Is that his name, or is it Tom?
No,
Todd Howard. Yeah, he was like, we've put 25 years in the making here. Like, they've always wanted to do a space open world, RPG game, and now with the tech that they've got, they can finally do it. So I think they definitely wouldn't have shown off stuff that we're not going to get, because they would just be shooting themselves in the foot.
Yeah. Which is surprising because I thought they must be making money still at Fallout 76 because I thought they'd let that dead horse die.
No, they've
But
still.
they peddled that out.
I was going to say I was going to mention that because it was the same.
Atlantic
It was
City.
it was not what anyone expected. Kept at it. They're still adding stuff to it.
Don't know why, but
well, because Bethesda doesn't give up on it.
Yeah.
People are playing it.
In saying that though, I am a
very
Bethesda
popular.
fangirl.
76 is.
Well, they've got Atlantic City coming out for that, so they're still expanding on it. So I mean, they're still working on that. So
it's definitely promising for Starfield, and the collaboration with Xbox with their controller and the headset. I mean, that's just to boost sales, obviously, for both parties. But damn, that controller looks pretty. Somebody's already got it. Somebody's already got it. Yeah.
What is that?
The
Starfield controller.
Where did you get that?
It fell off a truck.
Just turned up.
Yeah, it fell off the back of a truck.
Yeah. I mean, like, you guys can, you can buy them. So jump on the website and have a look.
And obviously, on further in gaming news, obviously we had Ubisoft Forward, which wasn't quite as big as a show, but it's still a big show for Ubisoft. I know, Subby, you sort of mentioned earlier, we saw some gameplay for Star Wars Outlaws.
Yes.
Did anyone else watch the footage?
Yep.
It was good. I liked it.
It definitely looks promising.
Yeah, I think they showed off the perfect amount, not too much, not too little.
Yeah, it's like that perfect balance.
It's the amount that it was like, oh, okay, I actually want to pick this game and give it a go. Again, taking away like the Jedi force feel, like force. I was about to say force field. That's the wrong word. Like your force feeling in that, like you're taking that out of the game, which will give people a, I don't know, better gaming experience to a degree. Like we've got Jedi Survivor, we can play as the Jedi. This gives us that different feeling.
Makes you feel more vulnerable to the enemies. You're not just this god with a lightsaber that runs around. I think you're going to have to be a little bit more smart and slower in certain things.
I don't know if you'd say God with a lightsaber. Darth Vader messed him up in the first one.
Yeah.
So talking about Ubisoft Forward, we'll start with you this time, Ash. What sort of jumped out with you in that one?
For that one, most definitely Avatar Frontiers. that one. I've loved the movie. So yeah, when that one popped up, and I wasn't actually expecting that one at all. I didn't even know that was actually even being developed.
Yeah,
So
I forgot all about it until they showed it again.
but
As soon as I saw that, I was thinking, I don't know why, but I thought back to that old Avatar game, playing it on the Wii when it first came out. I was like, I hope it's not like this.
looking at it, it looks like it's very like Far Cry. It has a very Far Cry feel to it from what I can see and from other people that have actually spoken about it as well that I've heard. So, and that doesn't upset me at all or whatever, but that one most definitely jumped out at me. That is most definitely one towards the end of the year that I'm definitely would pick up. But being burnt sort of with the whole pre-ordering stuff, I don't pre-order things anymore. But I'll definitely be picking that one up as close to day one. Once I'm confident in sort of the product that's coming out.
Oh, you'll probably get to review it, mate. Don't worry.
Yeah, maybe we'll see. X Defiant, which obviously a lot of people here sort of got to play with. I wouldn't say that I was overly interested, but seeing this and sort of how much life they're actually going to pump into it just in the first year certainly got me interested. I'm just like, wow, they're really swinging hard for the fences on this one.
All new factions. I was like, yeah, boy.
Because, I mean, within the first year, on top of what they're already going to give us, you're going to get an additional 4 factions, 12 weapons, and 12 maps. I mean, that's a lot of content in a year.
Yeah, boy.
On top of what they're already delivering, which is a substantial product.
They are so confident in this game that they are not gonna. They're gonna treat this like C.
Well, I think it's going to be treated like Call of Duty as well, right? Like throw everything at it.
Yeah, well, they want
to
topple COD. So
yeah,
I mean, you've got ex-COD pro players.
Well, not in the way where COD releases a new one every bloody year.
No, it'll be live service.
Yeah.
Free to play. Got ex-COD pros and devs making the game, so
yeah.
But yeah,
and then obviously Ubisoft backing.
But yeah, they also had a couple of mobile entries in there, which I'm definitely not interested in.
Yeah.
I think that's just a general aversion because I did hear things like the Division 1 that they're doing actually is like the Division 1. And I love the first Division. I played that right up until it started sort of breaking on me and I couldn't stand to play it anymore. So, something interesting to look at as a mobile sort of esque sort of thing.
There will be some something going up on our YouTube. Surgeons.
Oh, yep.
I actually wanted to dive into that a bit more because I know Subby loves Division games. Do you think obviously mobiles are powerful these days, like you can play games on them, that's not an issue. Do you think that it will play the same as the Division 1?
Let me just talk about yourselves for a second. Let me just see whether I'm allowed to talk about something.
Okay. Obviously someone's already played the game.
Well, jumping in on that point, mobile games are the future.
Yeah, I think because with Resurgence, from what I've seen and what I know that from what I've seen on YouTube videos and stuff, that it's and what Ubisoft have already spoken about in very small amounts is that Resurgence is going to be it's within the Division world that they all link up. So Division 2, Division Resurgence, and Heartland are all connected. That's why you can earn rewards for all 3 games while playing each different game. So it's definitely going to be within the Division world. But I don't think the mobile game, from what I've seen, is like the first and the second game. It's more of you've got missions that you have to do. You follow a set path and complete the mission, then go back to the base of operations, rearm, upgrade, and then continue on. That's what it looks like from all the videos I've seen on YouTube and that trailer and the gameplay that they showed.
So, Sabi, what can you tell us?
Nothing.
What was your question?
Does it feel like you're playing the Division? Is pretty much the main question.
Yes, it does. Pretty much looks. Funny enough, it looks just like the Division. It doesn't look that much worse, and it plays exactly the same. And plug a controller in, everything feels control-wise feels exactly the same.
Yeah, that's
like exactly the same.
promising.
I was very surprised.
Because obviously Ubisoft pushed pretty hard with the mobile games too, because they've got, I think it's codenamed Jade or whatever they called it, which was the new Assassin's Creed game, also coming to mobile.
Yes.
Which they haven't actually released a name of yet, but that would also be interesting to see, because that's got a whole heap of engine that needs to run on the game properly. And like I said, your mobiles are still powerful.
I
enough
will
to
have a
play it.
video. So the video I'm going to be posting as the opening.
Because the Asian market are big on mobile games, and they
Yeah,
spend
100%.
more money than the rest of the world in gaming. It's a smart move.
Oh, it's not something that it won't hurt anyone. Like the games
not for
on
me,
mobile are good. I don't personally do them just because I don't have the time and can't be bothered playing on the phone. But
Well, I was
it's definitely something.
I was
cool.
worked. I had because I had to capture it, and I'm allowed to stream it till the 20th. I had a look, but I just worked out how to mirror it to my screen and just control.
Yeah, which a lot of people will probably do too. Just mirror their phone's display. Yes, you'll probably have that millisecond of lag, but
No, there wasn't any lag. It's quite good.
yeah,
Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna with the resurgence, because obviously I play Division 2 quite a lot. I'll be for all those rewards. I'll be playing all 3 games because I love being able to get the rewards and stuff. So now knowing that I can put it on my screen,
Yeah, I
plug
just
it in the
casted
controller.
it straight. Like you can just use your phone casting straight to a PC. Or
Yeah,
you can, well,
and-
I
we
cast it
need
with
to
the
get on
USB
Division
cable.
again,
So
then.
I plug the USB cable in PC, and it's
Which phone do you have? Android or Apple?
Android. Yeah.
Okay. Do you know if that works for Apple?
Imagine so.
You
Yes.
should be able to.
there you go. What about you, Tox? What sort of jumped out at you for the Ubisoft event?
It wasn't really a whole lot. Like, there was Rayman coming back in the Rabbids Mario game that they have.
Yep.
Which was alright. Like, seeing more of Rayman is nice. One of my favorite characters as a child.
Yeah.
And then there was the Far Cry Blood Dragon anime that they put out on Netflix.
That's
Oh,
a
the
Netflix series. Yeah.
Captain
Yeah,
Laserhawk, a
Captain
Blood
Laserhawk,
Dragon.
a Blood Dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks actually pretty decent. The animation studio's not got like a whole lot behind their back, so this actually looks really good for what they've done.
I think it's something we're going to start seeing more of too, like TV series of games that we've loved. Like obviously they had the League of Legends one which I don't know, I can't remember what it's called, but Arcane. But it sounds like it's going to be something that people, and it's something people can relate to too, because obviously people have played the games, people know the characters. Like they'll probably do one for Far Cry 6 at some point, because obviously he's a well-known character. So
I wouldn't be surprised if they do some more Far Cry anime stuff, and it would be really good, especially with the director that they've got. He's worked in like the art department for Arcane and a couple of other projects as well. So he's definitely got some good like experience behind his back. So it's going to be interesting to see what they will do with this. Obviously, this is
100%.
only like a 6-episode anime, but that's all you really need to tell a story.
yeah, 100%. No, it's definitely something to look forward to. Now, Subby, you were talking a little bit about the crew. What else sort of jumped out to you?
Crew Motorfest.
Motorfest.
So I've played a little bit.
Of course you have.
I've played a little bit.
Played
I
everything.
attended a Ubisoft event for it.
He's clocked it, bro.
Yeah, he's clocked it.
100% every achievement.
And there's already a video up, so I've posted one of 2 videos. Posted my gameplay of called the Made in Japan playlist, which is like Need for Speed. My driving is not the greatest. Just don't worry about that.
I'm glad you said that because I didn't want to draw attention because when I watched it this afternoon.
The first race was okay. The second race wasn't too
Tell it like
good.
it's straight, Ash. Was he bad?
The second race was a bit all over the place, and that was just because the event was done remotely, so my latency was kicking in a little bit with the Ubisoft servers
hear
over
the
there.
excuses.
Yeah, good game. All those claims is
Anyway, so
cool.
don't worry about that. But yeah, it's pretty
Yeah,
good. So
exactly.
if you like Forza Horizon, which I do, right? It's pretty much it's exactly the same. You've got off-roading stuff, you've got street racing, you've got supercars, you've got old classics, and you've got Need for Speed style. It's called Made in Japan.
Does it have motorbikes and stuff like the Crew 1 and 2?
I didn't see any motorbikes. I haven't. I was playing a few different playlists, just one of each, just to get a feel for each of them.
Do you think it'll give Forza a bit of a run for it, like Horizon, a bit of a run for its money?
100%. 100%. It looks pretty.
It'd be interesting though, because like I know, I've played Forza Horizon ever since they first came out, and they've sort of started to drop off a little bit for me. Like Britain was all right. I played a fair bit of it, but like the latest one I played
Mexico
probably.
bored the hell.
I didn't play.
Yeah, Mexico was
I didn't
boring.
continue playing a lot of the last one either.
I didn't play it too much, and I was really really hyped for it, but yeah, it sort of let me down a little bit. So it'd be interesting to see because everyone's been asking with Forza Horizon for years to take it to Japan. Everyone loves drifting. Everyone loves racing. Japan is the heart of that.
Yeah.
And with the Crew doing a Japanese-styled playlist, it might make a Playground pull their finger out of their ass.
It's really nice too. It's very neon, bright colours, like
which is what people want.
Speed style.
The one thing that I noticed with it was they actually have the license to the Red Bull F1 car for this year.
Yeah, they got a lot of license.
Is there more than just the Red Bull
I'm pretty
F1?
sure I think there was others. Yeah.
Okay, because from what we seen at the event, they just showed off like the Red Bull F1 car, and I was like, did not expect that from this game at all. I was quite.
Because
the Crew 2 had licenses too.
Yeah,
didn't
they had Yeah, I think they've got, but they've still got. You're going to be surprised. I just went into it thinking it's going to be very similar to just Crew, but it's very similar.
I'm definitely keen to pick that one up.
So
I could almost feel if you didn't bother if you just picked up a control and started playing, would think you're playing Horizon.
Okay, so with that said, how is that going to sort of affect those that are very rusted on with the Forza Horizon?
Like Whippy just said, maybe a lot of them are stale and they want
to
change it up. Yeah, because I mean,
Okay.
I kind of agree. I don't think besides changing locations, they haven't really done much.
No, apart from the engine, the graphical engine capabilities, which is normally what you'd expect from a newer game with the new consoles. They haven't really done much in a sense of.
If you go back and watch the Motorfest video that they showed, it's all in engine stuff, and that's what it looks like when you're playing.
Wow,
it looks very nice, very nice.
Mm. Oh,
it'd be definitely interesting to see it release.
I was surprised, and I literally told her when I finished my session, I said, "Can I play? I'll let you go if I can just keep me connected to this computer so I can keep playing."
I'm assuming she said no.
I had to go.
Well, snobby.
What about you, Stace? What sort of jumped out for the Ubisoft event?
Okay, positives and negatives. Just Dance, just let that die, bro. Just die. Not Just Dance. I'm over it. Why'd you have to open with that, bro? Just close with that.
It's an Olympic sport now, Stace.
Just Dance is a big one for them.
Cringe Fest 3000. I'm actually quite the opposite of Ash about Avatar. I was like, this looks like Anthem, bro, and I'm not about it.
I loved it. I'm one of the outliers that loved Anthem. So
yeah, I loved Anthem. I wish they didn't can it.
Oh,
great! I'm just not big on movie franchise games and as a whole. Like, I love Harry Potter. I did not play the Harry Potter games. I love Lord of the Rings. I don't play the Lord of the Rings games. I don't know, things I like. I just don't like them ruined by video games. I'm fiending for X Defiant. Like, I'm so happy they're having an open beta weekend because I've been frothing for a good shooter since the closed beta. So I'm down for that. Skull and Bones. Going along the pirate
meme.
theme. When it first came, like we first saw stuff about it, I'm like, man, this looks booty as. But the more I've like seen, I'm starting to get a little bit excited for Skull and Bones.
Because they have a beta weekend in August, late August, I believe.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
the June.
Finally.
It's really soon.
June. Thought.
Oh no, sorry, that's Extra Defiant. See, I've
Yeah.
still got Extra Defiant
August
on my brain.
25th to August 28th.
And
Yeah.
also, just with that Extra Defiant, if you participated in the closed beta for it, you get to play 2 or 3 days earlier again.
Yeah.
Fabulous. Fabulous.
So, and
What else was there? Yeah, I write like mobile games are kind of the future, and we could probably expect to see more of that.
I'll try and
I thought it was-
stream. I'll try and set up a stream for Resurgence. Like maybe I've got till the 20th.
Okay, boss.
So you got a week.
You do that. I'm actually keen to see that because, like, as most of us in here are Division fans, as I found out for the first time tonight. Yeah, I'm keen for that. The crew, I knew Whippy would be frothing for. I was really impressed that they've made an Assassin's Creed VR game. That Nexus looks good. But yeah, overall, Assassin's Creed just bores me in general.
No
Like,
way.
they're like, "Ooh,
I'm pretty keen.
Mirage,
I'm pretty keen.
yeah,"
I reckon
like-
it looks very old. OG.
I was more excited for the VR. Like the VR looks sick because that looks
I'm
innovative.
not
the
for VR.
VR looks a
yeah.
lot.
But
likes VR.
The other stuff I didn't care about. Yeah, but it just looked cool because it puts you in the body of the character, kind of like Half-Life Alex. Like
It's got
it would be
people-
cool to be the character for once.
It looked a little too on rails for me. The VR. Mirage, obviously getting back to its roots. That one I would be keen on actually going back and playing. But yeah, the VR title, it looked very on rails. I did read somewhere that you can actually move around and it can actually do sort of the teleporting thing to help with motion sickness. So it's not an on rails thing, but it still looks very on rails.
Yeah, I hope that they do multiple locomotion types just for it, because I played games like Blade and Sorcery. Very much what I'm feeling this game is going to be like, where you can just sort of freely move around and kill everything.
Yeah,
You get all the
I liked I like this. I kind of like the old presentation style where they show the game and then the developer comes out and talks about it. I kind of miss that. So going from Xbox where it's just bang, 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 game after game. I actually thought it was refreshing to then go to Ubisoft because I really appreciate when the developers talk about it. Yeah, or the screen.
They actually showed him us like actually playing the game to show that the game actually works and is real.
Yeah.
And all the talk
Yeah, so
back
I
then was-
appreciated that. I like the passion of them talking about their game and stuff. So,
What about you, Flack?
Well, I'm going to go against the grain here of Stace. I actually love Assassin's Creed Mirage. I thought like that's just the game we've been waiting for. I mean, yeah, you know, Valhalla was amazing because of the new engine, how it ran, the new gameplay style and stuff. But I miss like open world feeling of like the originals and Origins was like still to this date my favorite Assassin's Creed game. But if we're going before them,
like Black Flag.
like it's going to be nuts. Like I can't wait to see how they show Basimov properly from what it looks like in the gameplay and what they showed, that we're going to be starting to seeing him as this hood rat, just, you know, in a trouble spot, and then being some reason saved by an assassin master, which I was a bit shocked by. I was like, okay, this is an interesting way to show him off. And then the gameplay just looked amazing. They've gone away from everything on your screen to very minimal HUD. The fact that you can't use your bird in certain areas unless you take out the archers, that to me was like, okay, cool. This is not just going to be
More immersive.
Yeah, like just not use the bird, scan everybody, and then go in and kill them all. Like that was very a boring gameplay loop for me. That yeah, you've kind of got a place where you want to be. Think about which people you need to take out first. I can't wait to see what they do with customization, with like gear and unlocking. I hope they do what they used to do, where you had to complete certain challenges and find certain items to unlock better armor. That was one thing that I missed, was the whole finding better armor through those challenges and unlocking the Assassin's Creed seals and all those tombs to get the armors and everything and progressively get better ones. Assassin's Creed for me was huge. Same with like, if I was to pick one out of each, those would be it. It would be Starfield and Assassin's Creed Mirage out of the two biggest ones for me. Prince of Persia.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Oh yeah,
And no
Everybody-
one's
yeah.
mentioned that yet.
No one's mentioned it. I think it was because it's like
it looked
it was
clean.
one of those things that no one really expected to pop up, but then appeared. I mean, with Assassin's Creed, they showed off, like, if you get like the special edition, you get the Prince of Persia inspired weapon set and outfit, right? That was actually, if you look back from way when we first seen Mirage and everything, no one actually mentioned Prince of Persia until then. And it was literally after the first Mirage reveal, when they showed about the Prince of Persia weapon set, was when they actually spoke about Prince of Persia. So obviously having them to link together, which with the way that they're doing the cosmetic, right, was pretty cool. The game looks great. I'm not really a scroller platformer game like person. I don't really play those games anymore. I'm more of like a third person or FPS shooter. But it did look interesting enough for me to go, you know what, actually I do want to try this out, because I originally played the first two Prince of Persia way back when I was younger, and it was just very interesting. Avatar, very disappointed by the look of the Na'vi, the character models. I know it's going to potentially change. It just feels like with the engine that they're using, they could have put a lot more emphasis into that of the main characters you're using and playing than the actual open world and as such. Like, they're more worried about, from what I looked in the gameplay, they're more worried about the background looking amazing and not so much detail in the actual character's hands that you're playing at. It looked very, very janky, the movement and stuff. So I was a bit shocked that they didn't, for something that's so big that they've been waiting to do for a while, they didn't put a lot more emphasis into how the Na'vi looked and just the character models. To me, yeah, they just looked like something 5-6 years ago. It should have, like, that's when it looked like it had been released. With the way that they've done it with Division, character models look amazing in Division, even in their cutscenes. They could have done a bit better. And X Defiant, obviously, first person shooter. The Crew, probably I'll check it out. Motorfest, I'll definitely check it out. But yeah, Star Wars Outlaws, that's going to be one I'll be playing.
Better check it out. You have a full rig.
Well, see, the thing is, though, I don't play arcade racing games on the. It's
Oh, really? At all?
Well,
No.
Horizon doesn't. Forza Motorsport until like 2 years ago, but they don't really. They support wheels, but they're not set up properly. They don't feel really
No.
great.
Yeah, they're never set up properly. And you have to
Yeah,
use
the
those
force
third-party
feedback's just not there.
applications.
So,
Yeah,
like,
that's
the
cool.
closest arcade is like the arcade sim game I'll play on my steering wheel is F1 20, like any of the F1 games. Just because they're kind of sim but more arcadey. They're what we call an arcade sim. But no, I'll probably just play it with a controller, because it's just how I've played Horizon. And all the other motorsports. But if the new motorsport game comes out and it has actual wheel support, and that's like where they want to go with it, then probably use it then. But nah, for Motorfest it'll be controller. Yeah, not so keen on Skull and Bones until we see more about it. Probably not going to watch the Captain Laserhawk
What is that?
anime. It's an anime.
Oh,
It's
that
like
was cool.
it looked interesting, but like think of it as it's like all of the Ubisoft characters in an anime episode that has like a remix of just comedy, craziness, whatever's going on. I don't know. I didn't like the presentation. It was very.
Oh, the presentation was a bit awkward.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
like, who is this
presentation
guy?
was-
I don't actually haven't seen you. Like when he said you probably see me on YouTube, I'm like, nope,
Probably
don't know who you are,
not.
dude. Yeah,
However, he
don't know who
did
you
do
are.
Castlevania for Netflix. And I love
I
that.
simply looked him up on IMDb just to see what the hell he did, and
Yeah.
found out he was just part of the art department in Arcane.
Yeah, I didn't actually like. I was a bit shocked by it. And then, when the Ubisoft, like the head guy of Ubisoft came on, I thought that was really cool. The way that he thanked everyone and his passion for it. I think Ubisoft's definitely thinking more about not having a massive lineup, but having enough there to keep people interested and actually focusing on what matters. And I really hope with Avatar that they do fix how it looks until we see it. Because to me, I don't know if anyone else noticed, but the character models just do not look like a game that's coming out this year or next year.
What for? Which one?
The Avatar, Frontiers of Pandora.
Yeah. I wasn't excited for that.
Like, I just feel like they could have done better. I mean, I'm excited to see it because I just watched the new.
Ash sitting there by himself.
Well, I mean,
what are you bastards?
I'm on the fence. But no, I think I'm on the fence with it, 50-50, because I just watched the latest movie because it came out on Disney Plus. If you haven't seen it, it's definitely good. If you're an Avatar fan, some people didn't like it, but I did. I thought it was great. But if they do that well, because obviously James Cameron is there helping him out. I don't know, just fix the gameplay, like the graphics of it, I think, and it'll probably do well. It just looked very janky from what I've seen. I know I'm like one of those people like, you don't need amazing graphics to have a good story game, but when it's Avatar and how graphically amazing that game actually looked, the movie, sorry, yeah, I think it should definitely be good. Subby's laughing. What's going on?
I'm waiting to see if Ash has any.
I'm waiting for Ash.
I'm waiting for the return fire.
What return fire would there be? He's entitled to his opinion.
That's
so
true. That's true.
yeah,
Oh,
he's
more
he's
so
unhappy
Wrong,
with-
but he's entitled to it.
more so as if you agree or disagree with what he said.
I didn't find them janky, but I am obviously looking at it through rose-colored glasses compared to himself. It does definitely make me curious to go back and rewatch it to see if I can actually spot that. Because I've only watched it the once, so but yeah, it is something I definitely will go back and revisit to sort of see what Flack is seeing. But yeah, on my first initial watch, I didn't find it that like that at all. That's just, again, personal opinion.
I mean, it could also come down to the fact that the stream was streamed at 1080. Like, it wasn't at a higher resolution like the Xbox and the Starfield showcase. If the video for it is actually on YouTube at a higher quality, could be that. But from what I've seen, it just looked like the character models felt like they were ripped straight from the most recent Avatar game that came out those many years ago.
Yep.
Well, the obviously the one that crawled out to me was Mirage. I love the Assassin's Creed games. I've always loved them. They're definitely my favorite gaming series. So, and the fact they're going back to their roots with the game, I'm really hyped for. We'll have to disagree a little bit with Flack. I thought like Origins wasn't too bad, but like Odyssey and Valhalla, they were too big. Like, the game, it lost its root. Like I don't know. I love the Ezio trilogy. Those games were awesome. They were a good sized game. The map was a good size, and you still had that need to be an assassin. Whereas Valhalla knew for a fact you could jump off the front of a boat and go and slam an axe into someone's head. So it took away the sort of that assassin feel for the game. But I'm definitely keen for that. Skull and Bones, I'm on the fence about. They've talked about it too much, and it's been around for too long now before we've even been able to play it. So, and obviously Outlaws, I'm very keen for that. I love Star Wars. So,
regarding your take on like Origins, like what was I'm just going to quiz you on this. What was your thing about Origins that you didn't like?
It started getting too big.
The map.
The map started. There was too
traveling.
much.
Yeah, so you're talking about like the open world aspect of it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed 3 wasn't too bad. It was starting to get bigger, but then Origin, like Black Flag was different in its sense, but Origins, the game started getting too big.
See, I felt like Origins was a perfect size. It was when Odyssey felt way too long. Like, it took me forever to complete Odyssey. I haven't even actually completed Valhalla. I just lost interest of being a Viking and just grinding out the better gear and stuff constantly. I felt like that was a really bad direction with that. But other than that, the game visually looks amazing. And if they keep, obviously, with the new Snowdrop engines that are coming out with all their Ubisoft games, like Mirage looks amazing. And one thing that I was actually waiting for you to say was the fact that you can bring out the filter from the first game.
True. I didn't think about that. Yes.
Yeah, so that I thought was really cool. That if you wanted to make it feel more like Assassin's Creed, the first one, with that kind of bluey, like blue-green filter that they had, you can pop that on there, which I thought was a cool little addition.
No, 100%. Well, we've probably well and truly gone past our little hour, but yeah, I'm definitely keen to see what's coming gaming wise. Obviously, we've seen it all with the showcase and everything, but so obviously we've got a heap of new games coming for our showcase events. Obviously, like Stacey commented on before, we've got a heap coming day one to Game Pass, which is very exciting. If you haven't already got Game Pass, what are you doing?
Yeah. What are you doing?
You're living under a rock.
World of Warcraft.
Or doing that, yeah.
There you go. Tox obviously
Or
doesn't
Game
have Game
Pass.
Pass. But like from a gaming community perspective, there's a lot coming, and definitely very keen for it all. But yeah, like we said at the start of the episode, this was a bonus episode, so you'll still be getting next month's episode, and next month's episode, and we shall see you then. Have a good one, guys.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.